So this is an Elddis Avante 564. I'm just going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. In front of the van you've got your jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake, which will take you through in person here on site. In the front locker you've got your gas bottle, which you turn on with the gas bottle on top. Down the side of the van you've got your battery locker with your battery in there and your mains connection coming straight into the side of the Caravan, which connects to the power on site. We turn the power on to plug in, to connect to the Caravan and to the power point, and then turn the power supply on at the socket. Wheel nuts, we'll torque wheel nuts before the Caravan leaves site, so you can see they've been tightened correctly. Coming to the back of the Caravan, you've got your two wind down legs either side to stabilise the Caravan. They are just there for stabilising the Caravan, not lifting the Caravan. If you lift the Caravan with them, you can potentially damage the floor of the Caravan itself. Coming down the north side of the Caravan, you've got your toilet flush tank. You need to open this up and you'll put 3.5 litres of water in there and a cap full of the pink fluid prior to use. In the bottom, you've got your toilet waste cassette, which you release by pulling out the orange handle, just pulling the cassette towards you. The orange neck turns out 90 degrees so you can tip the waste away. The grey cap is a measure for your pink and your blue fluid. On the back of the cassette you've got an orange pressure relief button, so when you're tipping the waste away it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. In this cassette you'll need to put 1 litre of water and a capful of the blue fluid prior to use. You've then got your two fridge vents. Two fridge vents are very simply there to allow the hot air at the back of the fridge. Don't ever cover these up while the fridge is in use, as if you do it will potentially get too hot in there, and that will stop the fridge from working at its full capacity. Water pump connection is very simple to use. You've got the pump here that pulls out the side of the van and pushes into the side of the Caravan. Lock the cap down so it locks it into place. Then the pickup pipe drops down inside the acro. You can just about see it down inside there. And it needs to be fully submerged in water prior to turning the water pump on. The heating and hot water flue needs to be released or taken off prior to igniting anything on gas inside of the Caravan. Then you've got the last of the wind down legs, and you've got the one on the opposite side of the front as well to stabilise the Caravan. Again, like I said, you don't lift the Caravan with these, they're only there for stabilising the Caravan. Coming on to the inside of the Caravan now. I'm just going to shut the door over. As you come into the Caravan, on the left hand side you've got your main control panel, so you connect to the power on the outside, turn the power on at the power supply, and then you've got your master power switch here. You turn on the master power switch and you'll have power to the inside of the Caravan, whether that be from the 12 volt supply or on board the Caravan or the mains power supply on site. You've got your internal lighting on the switch just here. You've got your awning light for the outside of the Caravan on the top right hand side. You've got your water pump, which I'll come back to in a moment. And then you've got your 12 volt or your battery voltage at the top here in this sighting glass. You would expect to see it between 12.5 and 13 volts, as you can see it is at the moment. Once you've got the power turned on, the first thing you're always going to do is fill the water system up. So you never let the water system run completely dry. And to fill the water system up, you're first of all going to need to come underneath the seat on the front right hand side. You connect it up on the outside, like we've already showed you. Then just down in this cabinet here, it's a bit hard to see because of the light, but just down here there is a yellow valve. That yellow valve needs to be flat with the floor, so in this position to fill the water system up, and to drain it down you need to put it upright so it's pointing towards the bottom of the seat. So like I said, to fill the system, valve, yellow valve, flat with the floor. Once that valve is flat with the floor, you open all the taps up on the hot side of the water system. So you come over to every tap, open them up on the hot side. As you can see, I've already filled the system up. Open up on the hot side of the water system, and then come over to your control panel by the door and turn the water pump on. The water system will start filling, and you always fill the hot side first because the cold side will draw straight from the barrel, not through the hot water tank. So as you can see, now the water system is full and the water is running continuously. We can shut the taps back off. At that point it will turn the pump off itself. You do not need to turn the switch off next to the door. If you turn the switch off by the door, the next time you try and turn the heating on or the water on, there'll be nothing happen because the pump isn't turned on. So essentially there's a micro switch in each tap which that isolates the power to the pump and stops the supply. Once you've got the water system full, you're going to need to start thinking about warming the water on board the Caravan. Now you do this in two ways. You've got electric or gas. So to run the water heating on electric, you come in the cabinet underneath the seat on the front left hand side, and you'll turn on the bottom switch here. That will be your water heater on electric. To run the water heater on gas, which you shouldn't need to do at home, the only thing you'd probably need to use that for is cooking. If you connect it to a mains power supply, is use the dial on the right hand side here. You'll spin this outer grey dial to the flame symbol. The green light will appear to say that it is trying to ignite, and if it fails to ignite, it's going to bring up a red light at the bottom here, and if not, so there's a red light there next to the green light. You can actually control the temperature of the water on gas between 30 and 70 degrees. It is a preset temperature on the electric water heating. To turn off the gas supply for the water heating, simply spin the dial back to the off position here, and that will isolate the water supply. The heating, hot water on gas. To use the electric heating on board the Caravan, so the actual heater itself just here, you need to turn on the top switch. So you'll turn the switch on, which will then put power to the control panel on the left hand side here. Heating is off when it is pointing at the off icon here. You've either then got 500, 1000 or 2000 watts of power that you can run the heating on. If you're running it from a normal household supply, you put it to the 1000 watts. 2000 will probably be too much for the household supply, and you control the temperature of the heating by spinning this dial between 1 and 9. Obviously the higher this is, the hotter the heating will be. To operate the heating on gas, you've got a dial on the top left hand side here. You'd need to remove that cover on the outside of the Caravan that we showed you on the outside. You'll spin this dial round on top to between 10 and 9. Hold down the gas valve and hit the igniter at the same time. Once it ignites on gas, you'll have a pilot light in this window on the front of the heater. And once it has ignited, you continue to hold down the gas valve for a further 5 to 10 seconds, then slowly release the valve. Then you can control the temperature by spinning the dial left or right. Obviously 1 is going to be the coolest setting and 10 being the hottest setting. You've also got blown air heating for this on this particular Caravan. The dial here on the left hand side controls the fan speed. So that's a bit like the fan speed in your car. The dot here indicates the heat is going to come straight out the front of the heater. The wave symbol here is indicating you've got blown air heating, or you're going to turn on the blown air heating. That will come out the vents that you see around the Caravan in different locations. However, before you use these, I do advise that you let the heater warm up for a good half an hour to 40 minutes before you try turning on to the blown air, because it will instantly cool down the heating elements rather than let them warm up first. And when you have got the blown air on, like I said, you can control the fan speed on this dial on top. We've then got the fridge. The fridge is again very straightforward to use. Power on or off on this button just here. So we're going to turn the fridge off first of all. Turn the fridge on, power on. Fridge is now loaded. So the symbol here indicates we're going to run it on mains power, which is what you do if the Caravan was at home. You're going to control the fridge. Just hold on. You're just going to control the fridge temperature on this button on the right hand side. Press the button and the icons will light up. The more amount of blocks you have lit up, the colder the fridge will be. To change the power source you want to use, you'll use the button on the left hand side here. You've got 12 volt for when you're towing down the road, so you can use the fridge as a cool box. It will not work off the 12 volt supply on board the Caravan because they are not designed to do that. And if you want to run the fridge on gas, you'll hit the button again and it will go to the gas option. If it ignites on gas, this blue light will stay solid blue here, and if it fails to ignite, it will start flashing, and it will also bring up a number here and a spanner symbol indicating it's failed to ignite. And again, you can control the temperature of the fridge on the button on the right hand side. Microwave, hob, grill and oven all work like your household appliances, no difference at all there. To set the bed up at the front of the Caravan, all you need to do is pull the rail out from underneath here. You'll pull that all the way out and you'll lift it over these little tabs here so it locks in place. Then you'll use the cushions here and here to drop down into the centre, and the same on this side. To set the bed up at this end, the table here actually drops down and sits within the rail that you can see there at the bottom, and that will set the bed up. And again, you use the cushions from around the edge to make the mattress area up. Taps work all like your household taps, like I said, on and off, as you'll see. Water on, water off. And the last thing when you go through on board the Caravan is the toilet system. If the toilet waste cassette is completely full, this light will illuminate red just here. You have a toilet flush on the button in the centre. The toilet seat turns for your convenience, as you can see. However, when you are removing the toilet waste cassette from the outside of the Caravan, the toilet does need to be in the straight on position. Below the toilet, you have your grey waste handle, which you push across to the right hand side, which allows the waste into the toilet waste cassette itself, and you'll have it in the closed position when you're not using the toilet. You'll also need it in this position when you are removing the toilet waste cassette, as if not, it will lock the toilet waste cassette in place and it will not allow you to remove it. So this is the Elddis Avante 564, or 564. If you have any further questions on the Caravan, please don't hesitate to give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate your business and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon. Thanks again. Bye bye.